All right, y'all. So my friend is coming over today to do a little bit of a light spar. I figured that before he comes over, I might as well just warm up, do some shadow boxing, and just like get warmed and do some footwork drills to make sure that I'm actually prepared before the spar. So, yeah, honestly, I don't know if I'll actually end up filming it or not, but this may just fast forward straight to the actual sparring itself, or it may not, but yeah, we'll see. This is just the intro, so hopefully I'm thinking it's going to be interesting, so stay along and see how it goes. And yeah. All right, so I realize it's really, really boring just to watch me stretch with like no music or like no voice in the slightest bit. So now, if you want to be able to watch the stretches, you're going to hear me yap for a little bit because I don't personally want to watch videos that I don't find interesting myself and wouldn't personally watch myself. So here's me. I initially started with just squatting down. That really helps, just like being able to get in more depth and fix your form on getting low. And then after that, same thing with squats, just the ability to do that and like getting into a deep squat helps so much. And if you can do that day after day, you will feel a drastic difference in your just ability to get low and be explosive from that position. So right now I'm shadow boxing and then just switch to footwork drills. But the shadow boxing I think is the number one thing that'll help with sparring the most, other than just sparring experience. And shadow boxing, literally, I know it looks so stupid, but just like, don't like clench your fist when you do it. Be like very relaxed. All right, so yeah, I did end up forming the stretching and warming up. So I think my friend's coming over in about like 10 minutes now, so I'll just cut straight to that. So enjoy. All right, so I'm just going to be talking about like my mindset and like what I was thinking during this whole fight. So basically in there, I just locked in, I'm thinking of how can I gather like how far I can reach with my jab, and I think that's important to do, especially if you have like a slightly longer reach than the person that you're with. But yeah, trading a few punches there. And I think the most important thing that I learned from this sparring session is that it doesn't really, a lot of people stress the position of your hands, but if you just move your head out of the way, like it still fucking hurts if you get hit in the head and you block it with your hand. So like learn head movement, and head movement is like one of the most valuable things you could possibly learn in boxing, because if you know you won't get hit, you'll be so much more confident, so much more calm, so much more calculated while in the ring. And yeah, this is also just like kind of trading jabs, just like gather distance, and then resetting here, tracking down again. Good shot from Luca. Trading light blows to the head there, just gathering distance. I'm reaching a little bit further forward. This was like, we were kind of at a standstill there, so I just ended up stalling. And what I always want to do in boxing is try and have the opponent come towards me, because then you have the control and the leverage of being in good position. It's like if you're going into a battle, you want to have the ability to prepare before going in. And if people are storming into your land, that's your advantage. So if you can just like set up perfectly for when they come in, if they creep into your zone, just like pop them right there and you're good. Yeah, again, creeping forward a little bit more. Another, again with the head movement, just like incredibly important skill to learn. I think that's probably the number one thing. It also helps you get into more of a flow state, so I find it really important. Good shot from Luca there. I think slightly overextending on that, so I wouldn't recommend most people to do it. But he was able to get hit there and not be hit, so can't like really say that much bad about it. But a very important thing that I want anyone watching this to take away is it's important to be calm while you're sparring. Like, again, take my words as a grain of salt, but it's not like Well, the number one thing you don't want to do is lose your cool and then start like throwing haymakers, and then you get knocked the fuck out. Like, it's just not a good idea. Throwing a few more punches there. We could get some good blows. Like, if I wouldn't have stayed calm there, I would have freaked out and tried backing up. I would have been in a corner, and then he would have landed significantly more blows on there. Again, just tracking each other down. One thing that Luca was doing that was slightly annoying was that he's inching away since we're in such a wide area. In a real ring, you wouldn't really be able to do that much because you'd be backed up against the ring and you'd be kind of really, really screwed from that position. So always remember to, like, once someone gets into your zone, keep on, like, hold your ground and, like, punch them to make sure that they move from your zone instead of you moving out of their zone. Good blows from Luca there. Tracking down again. Again, the objective of light sparring is not to beat the shit out of your partner. It's to learn, get more calm in the ring, and get as much experience sparring as possible. I remember there's my first real sparring experience. Well, actually, my second real sparring experience was with a Golden Glove winner, and at first it wasn't that much, but eventually went into hard sparring, and after that I remember going home with a very, very bad headache and thinking I literally never want to do this unless I'm in an actual fight. I think hard sparring, you learn a lot from it, but you also lose a lot from it. Like, if you do that consistently, your brain is getting messed up, so it's just not a good idea. Again, working around. Another thing that I learned from this, make sure your footwork is on point. I think so many people are set in the ways of, like, very, very set footwork that is only one way and you stay like that. I think Floyd Mayweather was, like, the main component of this, but finding your own style is incredibly important too. Like, Floyd Mayweather's techniques doesn't work for me because I'm not as big or as short as him. Like, I'm much more of a, like, tracking around and kind of lurking around everywhere more than be set like a wall of stone, because I'm not that big of a guy. But yeah, I'm yapping a little too much here. Let's get back to talking about the actual fight. Going back into it. Tracking him down a little more. And this is exactly where you want to be. You're at a good enough distance where you can land shots, but not at a distance where the shots will actually be that terrible. Again, the back foot is doing a lot of the work to be able to maneuver around where I am, and I think that's a very good thing to have. You can see that there, I think Luca's getting slightly flustered in the ring, which means he's just, like, throwing shots kind of around everywhere, which can hit and can do a lot of damage, but it definitely is much better if you're more calm and make strategic shots that work towards your favor. And you know, I'll be honest with y'all, I don't know if the voiceovers for these are better or if you just want to like see the raw thing and make me shut up. So let me know about that in the comments. But for now, I'm just gonna yap. Here was trying to move where you push the punch away and then you come in with your new punch. But the only problem with that is if you use your left hand to push a punch away, then go in with that same hand, you're completely open on your left side. And they can just come in, and if there's a right hook that'll hit you there, you're completely fucked. So watch out for that. I think it's best to block with one hand and punch with the other. So then after you block with the other hand, you can return it to the position and then get your head out of the way. So you have like two forms of defense against it. But that's just my take on that. I know a lot of people have a lot of different styles. I also think it's important to constantly be moving, constantly be like reaching forward your head, feeling like in that zone, because it makes you get into like a flow state. You feel focused, you feel in control when you're moving your head and constantly just like not at a standstill. Traded some shots there. Actually, not a trade, but oh well. Lovely walking around. I was trying to catch him off guard with walking around and like a sudden jab there. It didn't really work. Working in. Working in. Is he gonna do something? A lot of working for not much. Ooh, something's happening. Whoa, I should cut that out, but I'm too lazy to do it. Are we gonna do something? I don't think we are. And that is going to be it. Alright, I kind of forgot to film the outro for this yesterday, but yeah, that's going to be it for the sparring. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you want more content like this, or if this sucks. If you made it this far, hopefully it wasn't terrible. But yeah, see you on the next one.